motocross prelims. Last year's silver medalist, Brian Deegan, a definite step up on the creativity skill from last year.
His tricks are getting bigger. He's also more confident about where he wants to go and especially choosing his line throughout the course.
Talk about line in freestyle motocross. It is so important to utilize as many hits, as many lines throughout the course. They're judged on that. Only the top 10 would advance to the finals. Now, in the sport of freestyle motocross, there is a definite slew of characters, and Deegan
is absolutely the most notorious. He watches way too much professional wrestling. You can see the spikes on him. He's actually a member of the Metal Militia, which is hell-bent on world domination, and that's out of their own mouths. Deegan gets into a lot of trouble. He's known as a troublemaker, both on and off the course. He gets that reputation as being a troublemaker, but that's one he actually thrives on. He enjoys being the troublemaker. Throughout the prelims, he rode well, but he was a little bit subdued. Many of the riders will do that. They wait for the finals before they really start to blow out their craziest tricks.
It's like a cult following the sport. People will literally pack every inch of the city of Providence to watch it. It is amazing. It's hands down, I think, the most popular sport here at Gravity Games.
It is also the most interactive sport between the riders and the crowd. These guys really do know how to hype the crowd up. Here you see Deegan waving to the crowd. The crowd loves that. These guys are showmen. There's something about loud engines that people really love.
Yes, indeed. I mean, if you think about it, freestyle motocross is a sport in its infancy. It's only a couple years old in terms of having organized events and competitions, and it could very well take over something like NASCAR. It's that popular. There's something about it that people relate to. Brian Deegan would end up qualifying in 5th place. And without a doubt, it is a sport that is riddled with injuries. Mike Metzger, during his prelim run, I want to point out, last year he was absent from the 1999 Gravity Games because
of a blown ACL. Did that in the X Games. He didn't have a chance to compete. He was healing up.
He would end up tying Flowers to qualify in 2nd to go on to the finals. Looking back at Metzger's run, just such an amazing rider. Comes out with so much energy and such a barrage of tricks.
Many of these riders admittedly have ridden or still do ride BMX. Metzger is one of them. He loves BMX riding. You can see it influencing not only his tricks, but a lot of the tricks you see in freestyle motocross.
He is undoubtedly one of the pioneers of the sport. Metzger was doing freestyle motocross before it was an organized event. And a definite highlight, looking back at Metzger's run, the double saran wrap. Some of those gaps that they are going are over 80 feet.
You know, you mentioned earlier about why people would love this sport. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's because not everyone can do this. Look at how high they're going. Everyone understands. I mean, imagine how hard it is to ride a bicycle. We'll put an engine on that and think about going over an 80-foot jump.
In the prelims, the runs were combined to find out who would make it onto the finals. This run you're seeing right now was the highest scoring run, Metzger's 2nd run, a 91.
Pump him up out there. Come on, let's hear it for Metzger.
Looking back on the run, there were some definite defining moments. Look at the distance on the cliffhanger. No hands.
Feet hooked on the handlebar and just like yee-haw. And here's the saran wrap you're talking about. It's actually a bar hop air, and then he lets go of the bars and swings his legs to the outside.
Solid riding throughout the prelims. The scores do not carry over to the finals.
Tommy Flowers, you see him here doing the heart attack, didn't quite work out for him. But last year, broke his wrist, actually had to have pins and a plate put in the wrist. Here's the heart attack. It's done by Carey Hart. You see it here being performed by Tommy Flowers. He comes down a little bit off and just slides out.
Regardless of the fall, Flowers would qualify in 2nd place to go on to the finals. But talk about injuries.
Man, Mad Mike Jones out of Pennsylvania. He was riding a 4-stroke last year. He bogged out on his way up a jump, didn't even clear the jump, landed on his head, and the bike landed on top of him. He broke his neck and back, a very serious injury. Just glad to see Mike back out here, and he is riding incredibly.
Last year's silver medalist Brian Deegan would qualify in 5th. The best is yet to come. Here's a look at the top 10 qualifiers for freestyle motocross. You guys are watching like all the competitions, but there's actually a little village, like music, bands are playing.
Ooh, yeah! Oh!
Anybody else like to donate $1? My bike was stolen yesterday.
Don't do this at all, my friend, okay? He wins, he gets a free snowboard. I win, I get a free bike.
Hear me complain.
All we need is 800 beautiful people to donate $1, and I could get a bike back.
It's the Freestyle Motocross Finals. People are wedged in just for the possibility to witness a first in the sport of freestyle motocross. The speculation, of course, Carey Hart and the backflip.
This is something that's been haunting me, no kidding around, for 2 years. I knew it's always been possible. It's been like a monkey on my back. I gotta do a flip. I gotta flip my motorcycle. I'm gonna load the bike from here. I'm gonna like load the bike into it so I don't get that bottoming up there.
He doesn't take chances. If he's gonna go out and throw a trick, he's gonna run it through his mind 1,000 times.
I really don't want to say about what I'm gonna do. I'd rather you come talk to me afterwards. A year ago, people said, "Oh yeah, it's gonna flatten out. You can only do so much on the bike," and here it is a year later and blowing people's minds. I mean, anything's possible.
He's not gonna go out and just try to pull something just to pull it. So far.
And everybody's speculating. Tom Hart, his father, as you see right there, is probably the only person who knows for sure whether or not Carey will go for it.
Each of the riders today get two-minute runs. It will be a combination of those runs to decide who walks away with the gold medal.
Pat, a few months ago, TJ Lavin, the bike dirt gold medalist, and Carey Hart came to Woodward Camp to practice and to teach Carey how to do a backflip on a BMX bike. He did just that. I happened to be there. I asked him exactly, hey, why are you doing this? He goes, because I want to do it on my motorcycle. It was then that my jaw hit the floor.
It's such a different story. You got 220 pounds of bike versus a BMX bike. Very different.
35 pounds on a BMX bike.
Now you're seeing a lot of stock tricks you normally see from Carey Hart. You even saw this signature move, the heart attack in his run there, but he's a little off his game right now. You can see it.
Well, he's visibly distracted. Anytime you plan to go for a huge trick, especially one of the magnitude as a flip, I mean, he's definitely going to feel the pressure. Also, the expectations of a lot, there's like Rumorville up there in the pits that he's going to go for it, and he may feel some pressure from his peers whether or not he should go for it.
If he does decide to go for the flip, it is going to be basically smack in the middle of the course. You will know if he makes that decision, if he's going to commit.
And it definitely doesn't look like he's going for it.
And that is going to do it for Carey Hart. Considering the magnitude of just even attempting a backflip, does it surprise you didn't go for it, Kenan?
No, not at all. He hasn't pulled a backflip. He's probably just working out the kinks in his first run. Most big tricks are saved.
The respect for a maneuver like that, I think there's not a single person out here that isn't waiting for it. Even this year's Bikeford gold medalist, Dave Mirra, he wants to see it, as well as all the dedicated fans of freestyle motocross. They're forced to the outside in Festival Village. They have been out here for hours. We even forced Gabby Reese. She's out in the sea of fans right now.
That's right, Pat. How long were you here before this competition started?
A couple hours, 2.
2 hours. And how far did you drive to get here?
All the way from Jersey, about 3.5, 4 hours.
These people are definitely fanatical. Back to you, Pat.
Thanks, Gabby.
Get out of there, Gabby. The guy had a militia hat on.
Carey Hart's first score, an 83.5. Up on deck right now, Trevor Vines. Since he was 12 years old, his parents were taking him to the Supercross races. On the back of his helmet, you can see the chatterbox. His dad normally does construction work. Today, he's going to be his voice of reason.
Heads up, make us proud, baby.
Well, you know what? I say we do something a little odd for us. We're going to shut up and take the back seat and listen to what his dad has to tell him.
Okay, go do it. Going into fender grab, no hands. Come back around to a heart attack, so what a big hit. Put your feet together, look down. Check it. Nice, baby, nice. That's the way to go. Come back around for a flip hanger. Beautiful, beautiful. Come back around for Superman Indian Air. Nice job. Come back around for an open can-can. You're going to go into a knock-down. Okay, you're going to go into a heel flip and a no-hand landing. Beautiful. Come back over for a heart attack. Over the big jump for McNetch, no hands, into a stomping. Nice job, come back for a whip. Back over for Superman Indian Air. You got 20 seconds. Okay, come back around, do your sterilizer. Try one more, you guys. Beautiful, I think they got it in there.
Well, Pat, not bad. He only missed the sterilizer, so I guess his coach is doing a good job.
Without a doubt, solid almost all the way through. Trevor Vines, a score of 91.5. Right now we shift gears. Jeff Tilt is up. Started riding BMX way back when, at 4 years old. Slowly but surely, he got involved in the sport of freestyle motocross. Back in 97, broke both arms. In 99, dislocated both shoulders, but he's back competing strongly throughout the tour. Tilton, originally in racing, got involved in freestyle motocross. He's been racing since 91. Lands a clean no-hander right there. I want to re-emphasize the importance of creativity. If you notice, there's many hits in this course. It's easy to get lost. Right now, Tilton kind of going back and forth, keeping it very simple. The judges look for creativity, and they reward it. He's known to love do nothings and whips, and you're seeing her right there, right into the camera. Oh, and comes right back into the nothing. No hands, no feet coming off the pegs. Solid nothing once again from Jeff Tilton. Oh, and Tilton getting a little creative, lands. Little no-foot can-can, lands on the side. And whips it again. Gets the fender grab. So far, not a stunning, solid run from Tilton. Trying to work the crowd there a little bit. Little semi-extension on the Superman there. Right now, Tilton getting a little lost just at the end of the run here. Gets a little hip, and that is going to finish it up for Jeff Tilton. His score, an 80.5. Not surprising when you consider he didn't really find his way through the course, nothing dynamic. But right now, they call him the Flying Hawaiian. Clifford Adaptante, originally from Oahu, moved to Oklahoma and now lives in Corona, California. Growing up, Clifford was an Air Force brat, and now he is one of the main innovators in the sport of freestyle motocross. Nice little saran wrap there from Clifford. A couple of years ago, Clifford was competing what they called was My Kit. Now it's called PJ Arena Cross. Eventually saw some guys do Whip It, saw the Krusty video, and through the years realized he had the skills, and now he's one of the dominators in the sport of freestyle motocross. Big bar hop right there. Both legs going over the bars. Call that the Cordova, and Clifford, one of those riders known for beautiful extension, getting all the way back on the bike. Little Indian Air seat grab from Clifford Adaptante. He started riding at 6 years old on a little Honda 50. Good extension on the Superman seat grab, getting all the way back behind the bike. Solid run so far from Clifford Adaptante. Getting a little lost in the turns, not really pinning it all the way through. And there it is, signature style. They call that the sterilizer. Lands in that bar hop position, both legs over the bar. And that is going to do it, getting a little, almost casing that on the last jump, coming down the landing. Clifford Adaptante. Clifford score an even 88. Right now, Ronnie Feist claims allegiance to the Metal Militia. Earlier in prelims, had a little problem with the two-handed fender grab. But unaffected, ninja and karate skills Feist chopping his way to the finals. Ronnie Feist always bowed to the dojo. His martial art skills influencing his riding. Now his riding, he honed his freestyle motocross skills throughout the Warped Tour. Back when he decided to migrate from New Jersey to California, Brian Deegan definitely helped him out. Lived with Brian Deegan, helped him out through the hard years, and right now, in freestyle motocross, Ronnie Feist is one of the top riders throughout the sport. pendulum right there, swinging back and forth, getting on each side of the bike. Now think about it. These guys are riding bikes that are 220, 225. Excellent extension from the Cordova. We saw it earlier from Clifford Adaptante. But Feist gets so far back on the bike, extends, almost touching the helmet. A nice little heart attack named after Carey Hart. And a big extension on the bar hop, almost getting the entire body in front of the bike. Switching his lineup a little bit here. And a clip hanger, getting all the way back, getting right on the top side of those boots, holding onto the handlebars. Just a little bit of time there for Ronnie Feist. Pushing it right at the end of the run here. And a no-hander lands confidently. Rides it all the way out. With a big heel clicker right at the end. This is probably going to do it for Ronnie Feist. And it does. Some definite moments for Ronnie Feist in that run. A score of 89. Looking back, you saw it, the cliffhanger, watch the feet. They go up hanging on the bars, just connecting there.